everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, then a very big hello. My name is Louise. So today is Wednesday, so I thought I'd bring out quite a chilled video and something a bit fun. Now, if you haven't watched it, then on my channel a few weeks ago, I did like Canadian stereotypes. So obviously if you don't know, you don't follow me, I moved from the UK to Canada 2 years ago, and I just did a video to see if Canadian stereotypes I believe are a myth or if they are true from living in the country for 2 years. So an outsider moving into the country, did I think they were true or not? I will leave the link down below if you want to watch it. It was great fun. Today I thought I would try something different, and I don't really talk about England much in my vlogs because I've moved from England to Canada, so a lot of my videos are around Canada. But I thought it'd be quite cool to list off some British stereotypes and to see if I am a true Brit and to see if these are true or a myth when it comes to me. Now this video, I'm just doing a little disclaimer, is just a little bit of fun. I'm not here to insult anybody. Obviously I am British, so I'm not here to insult the Brits at all. I just want to see if these relate to me, or if not, if they're like a myth, and I just want to talk through some stereotypes. I know I've got quite a large Canadian community on my channel, and I thought this would be just quite fun for those guys to see if I think the stereotypes are a myth or if they're true. These stereotypes I got up on Wikipedia, but also someone else has done a video very similar to this called Easy English. I'll leave their video down below as well. He's out walking and he's actually just asking everyday people these questions as well, and it's so interesting to see all the different answers. So I'll leave that video down below as well, but I'm just going to watch this and answer the same questions he asks everyone else. So if you see me looking down at all, it's because my laptop is there. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get started with the #1 stereotype for Brits. So the first one is politeness. So in the British stereotypes, it says that Brits are very apologetic, that we always say our please and thank yous. I do think this is true. I would like to say that I'm very, I am very polite. I would like to say that. I don't know if every Brit is polite, I'm unsure on that. Moving away from home, I think they're just as polite here as they are back at home. So I do say my P's and Q's, and I've been brought up like that, and I'm going to bring my kids up like that too. So I would say that we are very polite, yes. But I wouldn't say it's any different than any other country I've been to. It's something that I've not noticed. Yes. Actually, I do want to point out, this is a very polite thing to do, but opening a door for someone when you're out shopping, that is a very British thing to do, and I guess that is polite, so I guess that goes under this category. But I've never really seen that done anywhere else, where people hold the door open for you like all the time. Like Brits would stand there for 5 minutes and let people come out. Like, we're so polite, we just don't want to like not let go of the door. So I guess in that way then this stereotype is true. Yeah, let's give this one a tick. I think this one's true. Okay, so the second stereotype is that Brits always say sorry. So I guess this is on the same conversation as being polite. It is a word that we overuse, I think. If I knock into a table, I say sorry to the table. It's so random. Or yeah, we use sorry way too much, I think. I think we need to learn to hold back on that word, but we say sorry for everything, and I still do that now, and some people have actually picked that up here. They're like, why are you saying sorry? Like, you don't need to say sorry. So I guess that's under the politeness of it, but yes, we do say sorry a lot. Well, I do. So I'm going to give that one a tick as well. Okay, so another stereotype is that we have a very dark, dry humour. Now, I am going to say this, the humour from the UK to Canada, the UK to America, are very, very, very different. Actually, I've watched a few Australian YouTubers, and I feel like our sense of humours are very similar to the Australians. I've never been to Australia, so don't quote me on that. But our sense of humours are very, very, very different. Even Jake has picked up on this. He's dropped a few one-liner jokes or something at work, and people haven't laughed back when normally he would get a laugh. And I would say our humour is very dry. A lot of Brits are very sarcastic and could be quite rude, and like, it is a completely different humour. And I actually really miss the UK, well, the Brits dry sense of humor sometimes, especially from working in a holiday park before I came to Canada, and we had like comedians all the time. And yeah, I definitely miss their sense of humor. Sometimes at work I say like a little one-liner or something and I'm scared I've insulted somebody, because they are quite very sensitive in Canada compared to the UK. I think in the UK you have to have this like wall up in front of you, and when someone says something, not take it to heart, because a lot of the time it's people's sense of humor and that's how they joke. So if you're watching this from Canada and you go on holiday to the UK and someone says something insulting to you, most of the time they're not insulting you, it's just their dry sense of humor. It's hard to explain the English sense of humor, it really is, but this stereotype I do believe is true, and I'm going to give this a green tick, because yeah, we do have a very dry sense of humor. But I also just want to point out as well, for all the Canadians watching this, depending where you live in the UK, it's depending on your humor as well. I think that up north, humor is very different to where I live down south, just because I've got a lot of northern friends and their sense of humor is so different to us down there. They call us like the southern fairies, like we're a little bit more sensitive than people up north. But yeah, tick to the dry sense of humor. I miss it and it's hard to explain, but there is definitely a different sense of humor in the UK than anywhere else I've been around the world. Okay, so the next stereotype is a very popular stereotype, I get it a lot here, is that we all love tea. We're huge tea drinkers. Now, before I start, tea in the UK, we also say tea to represent our evening meal as well. Now the reason I'm saying this is because at work sometimes I would say, oh, I'm going home to have my tea now, and they're like, oh my god, you're such big tea drinkers, you even drink tea at night. But we say, well, some parts of England say tea for your evening meal. So when I say I'm going home to have my tea, it means I'm going home to have my evening dinner, like my evening meal. It doesn't mean I'm going to have my cup of tea. But yes, we are big tea drinkers. I know I'm trying to beat around the bush there and say that we're not, but we really are. I would say when you wake up in the morning, well, I would wake up in the morning and I used to have a cup of tea in the UK. Now I moved to Canada, I always have a coffee. But when I go to bed, I always have a tea. My favorite tea is Yorkshire tea. It's so good. Also a biscuit brew, that's another one of my favorite teas. But then again, since I've been to Canada, they don't call it just tea here, they call it orange pekoe. Because when I first moved here, I didn't ever order tea because I thought it was orange flavour. But I've come to learn that orange pekoe is just a normal tea. And I do think it is, I would say, not as popular as the UK, but it is still popular over here. A lot of people do order a tea rather than a coffee in the middle of the day. Now don't get me wrong, if I go around to my mum's or my grandma's, I do get offered a cup of tea at least 3 times within the hour. And my granddad, I think he has one every hour of the day. I would actually love to ask him how many cups of tea he drinks a day, because it's just crazy. But there is a statistic shown that we do drink a lot of tea in England, and I do believe this as well. I can't believe all these stereotypes are ending up to be correct. I hope there's one on here that's not correct. But yeah, I would say that we are big tea drinkers. I actually had, when I was growing up, I always remember this, I had a bottle until I was like 6 years old. I was really old until I had a bottle. And I always remember having like a milky tea in the bottle instead of having just milk. I always have a cup of tea in my bottle growing up as a baby. So I don't think you could be any more British than that. So I'm gonna have to mark that stereotype as true. Okay, so the next stereotype is that the British people love talking about the weather. It's true. It is true. Every time I FaceTime my grandma from home, she's like, oh Lou, what's the weather like over there? My mum, what's the weather like over there? Like if you're in a lineup somewhere out waiting for something, like a coffee or a cup of tea, and you're like, oh, it's lovely weather today, isn't it? Oh, so the weather's bad. I don't know what it is, but the Brits always talk about the weather. And I've actually noticed from moving here, I talk about the weather less, because no one ever asks me over here. No one ever says to me, oh, it's a lovely day today, isn't it? Like, I think I'm that person. I go into work and I'm like, oh, it's gorgeous and sunny today. Oh, it's really cold. Like, I'm the person that brings these conversations into work. No one else, me, the British person. So I think this stereotype is true. I would love to know where this stereotype came from and who was like the people that always said about the weather, and then we've just kind of picked it up. I think it's like a lack of conversation. The one thing you can bring up is definitely the weather. It's something you're gonna have in common with every British person talking about the weather. It will never die down. We call, like my grandma was saying, she always calls up to my Auntie Anne up north, and they're like, oh, the weather, the rain's getting bad, and she always then tells me about her rain, like her weather up north. And I just feel like every conversation has to have that topic in it. I don't know why it is. The weather isn't a very good, interesting conversation. So I don't know why we talk about it so much. But that is a green tick, because I am this person. I am the person that talks about the weather all the time. If I haven't got something to talk about with someone, I will bring up the weather because it's nice and easy. You're gonna get a reply from the person that you're talking to about it. But yeah, it is a definite correct stereotype there. Okay, so this next stereotype I've never heard before. This is the first time I've heard it from watching this YouTube video, and it's apparently the British people have bad teeth. Now, apparently this came about by Americans. The Americans think the British have like yellow crooked teeth. Now, from watching this YouTube clip, I also agree with what these people are saying, in that it's because Americans pay for their teeth. British people don't want to pay money for teeth. If anything, their teeth look fake. They are so white, they are so big, they've got these veneers. And also, I've never come to think that Brits have bad teeth. Like, I've never even thought of that. So I don't know if this stereotype is real, or I don't know if it's a myth or if it's real. But then again, the more I think about this topic, is that since I've moved to Canada, anybody in a full-time job gets benefits. Now, I've never really noticed this in the UK with benefits getting handed out like this. I don't know if it's because we've got a really good NHS system. I don't know. Don't quote me on this. I'm not professional. This is just my thought process. I'm speaking aloud. So both me and Jake have benefits which we've never had before in the UK. We've both always had full-time jobs, but we've never had benefits. And within our benefit package is that we have a dental service, and we're allowed to spend a certain amount of dollars, like a few $100s a year, on our teeth. And say it comes to the end of the year and you've got all this money left over, then obviously you can have some good treatments done. Like, I want to get braces on the bottom of my teeth. I would have never thought to have braces at my age in England because it's so expensive. But now I've got dental care, I'm like, maybe I should get it done, because otherwise that money's just gonna disappear. Also on our dental plan is that we can have 2 cleans a year each with our dental plan. And I've never had that in the UK. I don't think I've ever had my teeth cleaned apart from when I had my braces off many years ago while I was in school. And I've never really had the conversation with anyone at work saying, oh, I'm going to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned. I've never ever know many people to get their teeth cleaned in the UK. So yeah, since me and Jake have lived in Canada, I've gone to the dentist more than I have my whole life in the UK. And it's not because I didn't go in the UK, because I did. I went for 6-month checkups every year, every 6 months. I had my braces, so I was there quite a lot. But because my healthcare pays for it, it entitles me to go. So maybe that's why teeth in like Canada and America are better, because when you have these plans, you want to make the most of it and you want to get your money's worth. As in the UK, you just go for your 6 months checkup. You don't want to put money into your teeth if they're fine. But I've had so far 3 cleans since I've been in Canada. I've had 2 fill-ins. I have another 2 fill-ins booked in for next week actually. And then at the end of the year, if I've got any money left over on my plan, I want braces on my bottom teeth again because I didn't wear my retainer. I wouldn't say that the Brits have yellow teeth, and that stereotype is definitely wrong, because we do look after our teeth. We just don't put money into our teeth. I think that's what I want to say. Like, if you're in America, you get your veneers, you get your white teeth, they're like, but we don't put money into it. If our teeth are healthy, they don't need fill-ins, and we brush our teeth. But yeah, we don't have dirty teeth, no way. We just rather put our money into something else other than fake teeth. Okay, so the next one is that our food is very beige and boring. Now, from living away from England, I am missing English food a lot. Is it very beige? I guess we could say that, like our pasties and chips, fish, like battered fish. like, I guess we do have a lot of bad food as our like stereotypical food, like roast dinner, that's not the most healthiest. Our fry up breakfast, that's not very healthy. Our battered fish isn't very healthy. So I would say that we're not a very healthy food, but we do have some great food. Like, honestly, I miss English food so much. So I would say it is very beige. I don't know whether to mark this yes or no, because our food is very beige, but I wouldn't say it's boring. Like, I miss the English food so much. If you're a Canadian watching this, have you tried like fish and chips and a Sunday roast and like a fry up in the morning? I would love to know what you guys think of our food, because obviously I've been brought up on this food, so of course I'm gonna love it and miss it because I'm not there now. But I don't know, I don't think it's boring. I like it, so I'm gonna mark that one an X, because yeah, I like the English food. Okay, so the next stereotype is that we are very, I can't remember the word they used here. It is a very long word that's not in my vocabulary. But we Brits are we're very like arrogant when it comes to learning other languages. Now, this is something that is definitely a true stereotype. I truly believe this, and this is one thing. Every Brit always says, I wish I knew more languages, but no one ever goes out their time in the day to learn another language. Now, when I lived in Cyprus, I was trying to learn the language. I was trying to learn a new word a day. And I would say I could have a nice conversation with someone. Not very good, because it was nowhere near strong enough to have a full-on conversation, but I wasn't as arrogant as I've been. And I definitely wanted to pick up a few words so I could speak to them. But we are very arrogant, and we do expect everyone to speak English, and it's such a bad stereotype, and I think it needs to change. Like, I think we do learn other languages in school, but then it becomes optional after a certain year, as I think growing up you should learn another language. Like, over here, and I've learned massive, like, since I've been in Canada, it's kind of opened my mind a little bit more, and every other country knows so many languages. Like, I have some friends that are from India, and they know so many languages. Like, one person told me they knew 6 different languages, and I was like, that is honestly incredible. In fact, the fact that you can go to another country and speak to them in their language and not expect them to speak to you like in your language, I think that's amazing. Someone I work with at the minute, they speak Spanish, French, English, and I'm literally like, I wish I was like that. But I think I've got to the age now where nothing's gonna go in, because I started like learning Cypriot again slowly on YouTube, and it just wasn't sticking, and it needs to be done at such a young age. And this is one stereotype I absolutely hate about Brits. Like, we'll go to any country in the world and we would expect them to speak our language back. And like, even if they say like, I don't speak English, then the English would then say it louder and like pronounce the words as if like they're suddenly gonna know what we're gonna say. Like, please can I have, and it's like, no matter how you word what you're saying, they're not gonna understand you. Like, Brits are very, yeah, small-minded like that. They expect everyone to speak English, and even if they go to a different country, they get annoyed if you can't speak English either, because they can't communicate to you. And a lot of people aren't open to the idea of learning another language. That's one thing that should change. I think it should be mandatory that you learn a second language. Actually, in primary school, I didn't learn any second language. It wasn't until secondary school, and I think that's too late then. And then you can drop it after 2 years. So I think we should definitely learn like a basic French or basic Spanish at such a young age, because that's one thing English people aren't good at. We're not good at learning another language, and I'll hold my hand up to that, because I don't know another language, and that's an awful stereotype, but I'm going to mark it green because I believe this is a true stereotype. Okay, so I'm coming to the last 2 now. So the one from the end is, we're professionals at queuing. Now, funny story, I'm not gonna say that every Canadians, because it's just the Canadians that I've met. Some of them didn't know what the word queue meant, like Q-U-E. They're like, what? Queue? I said it once, I was like, I'm going to queue. And they're like, queue? And I was like, line up. So they call it line up for starters. But I would say the British line up, queue for absolutely everything. And me and Jake actually had a funny situation in the airport once where there was someone standing near a gate, no, not in front of a gate, but by the side of a gate. And then she was on her phone, and then suddenly some British people started to line up behind her. She was not in a line for anything. And then suddenly this huge line appeared where Brits just seen a line and thought that they had to line up, because in our heads, that's what we think. If we see a few people standing in a line, we'll start queuing. Half the time we don't know what we're queuing for. But yeah, I think that stereotype is true. Jake's just come in from the store. I'm doing English stereotypes. Do you think an English stereotype is that we queue for everything? We're professionals at queuing?
Yeah.
You think that's a true stereotype?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, half the time we don't know what we're queuing for. If we see a line, we join it. And we are professionals at queuing. I'm not gonna lie. When this whole COVID thing came out and you had to line up to get in stores, it was normal to us because we're so used to queuing. And the Canadians absolutely hated lining up for a store. But I've got to say, I didn't mind because we're British and we're used to lining up for things. Okay, so moving on to the last stereotype, and that is, we love the Queen, we've met the Queen. I actually get this at work sometimes. Someone goes, oh, have you met the Queen? Like, not every British person has met the Queen, I will just say that. I do like the royal family. I guess I don't know as much as I really should because I'm British to the royal family. Like, everyone in Canada probably knows more than me because we have the same Queen. But in England, I guess they think that you know so much because she literally lives next door to you, apparently. That's what everyone thinks, that the Queen lives like next door to everyone. But I have actually met the Queen when I went to the races with my uncle once. So I am that 1 in 1,000,000% of people that have met the Queen. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question to, because I'm that typical British person that says yes. But no, not everyone has met the Queen. It's really unpopular to meet the Queen. You can go to Buckingham Palace, where she lives in London. If the flag is flying up on Buckingham Palace, then it means that she's in there, which is quite cool. And I have heard sometimes she comes to the window and wave. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never been there while she's been in there. But it's pretty cool actually in London to go and see like her home, and that whole area of London is absolutely beautiful. But no, not everyone has met the Queen, and she doesn't live next door to us. We don't hang out on weekends, trust me. So that brings me to the end of the video. I thought it would be just quite a cool, fun video for a Wednesday. I hope you're all well, I hope you're all safe, and I will see you on Monday with another day off vlog. Bye!